Hey YouTube, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here are my picks for UFC 138, Leben versus Muñoz. Yeah, YouTube, I am wearing a hat, and it's gonna be Halloween soon, so I just decided to get festive. That's all, but let's move on. 138. Do not be fooled, it is not going to be a pay-per-view. Leben versus Muñoz, you're gonna have to pay for that shit. Yeah, no thanks. That is not a pay-per-view caliber main event. Although I do like both fighters. I think they're gonna throw on a good fight, but it's only good enough caliber-wise for a free card, and that's what we're getting. Taking a look at the rest of the fights, Brad Pickett, Henbrow, pretty solid fight, but the other three fights on this main card on paper are mismatches. And yeah, I remember Dana White giving Strikeforce flack back in the day for, putting up mismatches. And he's like, oh, we can put up those kind of fights all the time, but we're not going to because we're better than that. And then I see, Anthony Njokuani versus Paul Taylor, and I shake my head. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Whatever. It's free, so I can't complain. But look forward to some beatdowns if you guys are into that shit. But again, it is a UFC numbered main event, so I will have a contest up for it. So let's take a look at that right now. Alright, YouTube, there it is. That is what I'm giving away for this contest. It is for the main event, yes, between Chris Leben and Mark Muñoz. That right there is a Mark Muñoz Form Athletics t-shirt. If you're a Mark Muñoz fan or you're just looking to pick up a shirt, please enter this contest. All you have to do is tell me who you think is going to win in that fight between Chris Leben and Mark Muñoz. Tell me that stuff in the comment section below. Pick a winner and pick a correct outcome. And if you are also subscribed, you are eligible to be picked at random to win this shirt. So again, if you want in, please enter. Alrighty, YouTube. Now we got the contest out of the way with. Let's move on to the first bout, the main card. This one's between Paul Taylor and Anthony Njokuani. First off, on one side we got Paul Taylor. How does he win this fight? Get within Anthony Njokuani's reach. Don't get hit because Anthony Njokuani, has relatively good power. And, be able to threaten with power shots, crosses, uppercuts, do whatever. Just don't stand in the center of the cage when Njokuani get leg kicked or get head kicked or, just have straight punches be barraged upon you, because Anthony Njokuani is going to be able to threaten. With all of those, he has a pretty significant reach. I think it's like 3.5 inches. He's relatively aggressive as of late, and his combinations have been looking pretty good too. We saw the Andre Winter bout, and he was controlling the pace of that fight wherever it was. As long as this thing's standing, and Njokuani, has the advantage, and that's all Paul Taylor can threaten with because he's not really noteworthy anywhere else. Njokuani on the feet everywhere is better. Clinch, he's going to batter him with knees. If this is in the center of the cage, he's going to be using better movement. He's faster. Again, he hits harder. I think he has better combinations. I think he's going to be more aggressive. And I just don't see Paul Taylor getting any real offense off. He's going to have to rush him, I think, and be able to spook Njokuani if he's going to win. And I don't think he's going to do that. I think Njokuani is just going to control this from the get-go. So that's my pick, Anthony Njokuani. I'm going to pick him to finish Paul Taylor. I know Paul Taylor has a very good chin. He has never been finished by strikes. But the way Anthony Njokuani's been looking lately, as long as this is standing with anyone, he has a pretty good shot at winning any fight, I think. So I got him winning via first round TKO punches. I don't see how Paul Taylor gets it done. I think it's a big mismatch for him. Again, he gives up the reach, speed, strength even. I think Njokuani hits harder. Yeah, I think Anthony Njokuani sends Paul Taylor's walking papers. So yes, Anthony Njokuani via first round TKO punches. Alright folks, now let's move on. Next bout's in lightweight as well. It's between Terry Edom and Edward Faolotto. Terry Edom's been out for over a year and a half. Glad to see him back. And I think this is going to be a relatively easy fight for him. This looks like a tune-up fight. Out of all the things I can think of for Terry Edom, Edward Faolotto, I really don't see how he threatens anyone with anything offensively. I know he had decent talent to deal with in his first couple UFC fights, Anthony Njokuani being one, and then Michael Johnson being the other. he just gave me no reason to think he was ever in any of those fights. You know what I'm saying? So I think Terry Adams just gonna have his way with him as long as Adams, been training accordingly and he's 100% recovered from whatever injury he had. I think he should be good. He's probably the way more superior grappler. He has pretty flashy subs, and he should be able to get any of them off against this guy as soon as it hits the ground. And on the feet, he's way lengthier, and he has even a bigger reach than Njokuani has over Paul Taylor, with his reach over this guy. And I just think he's going to dictate the pace of the fight. Wherever it goes, I think it's going to hit the ground eventually. And when that happens, I think Edom gets his back for submission, of course, a rear naked choke, and I think it's going to happen in round 1. So that's my pick, Terry Edom, round 1 submission, rear naked choke. Moving on, next bout, it's between Thiago Alves and Papi Abedi in welterweight. This is how far Thiago Alves has fallen. This is kind of embarrassing. Now he's facing Papi Abedi, a UFC newcomer who hasn't fought in like a year, on a free card that he's not even co-headlining on. Guys, Thiago Alves was a top 5 welterweight at one time, and now he's facing this. So this is how far he's fallen. But we'll see what he got. He should look relatively good in this fight because Papi Abedi is a judo guy who likes to throw hands and probably won't try to fight to his strengths here. I think Abedi's going to be looking for that big home run punch, and I think Alves is just going to be able to weather the storm, avoid the power shots, and as soon as Abedi kind of gasses himself out, I think Thiago Alves is going to be able to find his range via his superior Muay Thai striking. Again, Alves is a whiz on the feet. He has pretty good combinations, solid knees as well. I don't see how he loses this as long as this thing's standing. Again, he's just too keen of a striker, and I don't think Abedi will fight to his strengths, using his judo, getting this thing up against the cage, avoiding the Muay Thai clinch, and probably getting this down to the ground if he gets to the cage. Because, again, Alves versus grappler is not a good look because he doesn't believe he can beat anyone who's able to just get in close with him and wrestle him. He doesn't think he can beat him. Like, physically, I think he's able to do so, but he can't get over that mental block, which is unfortunate. Some guys are able to do so, like, Jose Aldo, but this guy's not, which is unfortunate because I think he can physically. But again, this is a matchup that favors him because of Papi Abedi's hyper-aggressiveness on the feet, which I don't think he should have. So again, Thiago Alves, first round TKO punches. Alright folks, moving on. Next fight in bantamweight, I guess you can call it the co-headliner. It's between Brad Pickett and Hen Burrell. Two very exciting bantamweights. I believe it's Pickett's first fight in the UFC after the WEC, changeover and shit. Glad to see Brad Pickett in the UFC. Pretty exciting bantamweight. Definitely a top 10. Pretty well-rounded. Has solid boxing skills. Solid power in each hand. Pretty good combinations. Pretty good takedowns. And he has solid jiu-jitsu as well. And then on the other side, you have Hen Burrell. Solid jiu-jitsu on the ground. Pretty flashy subs. Able to finish from the top or bottom. On the feet, pretty good Muay Thai. The guy's pretty much a whiz at bantamweight. As of right now, he hasn't been beaten in his last 26, and he's pretty much outclassed everyone in that streak. It's kind of crazy, one of the coolest streaks in all of MMA, but I think it comes to end come this fight. I think Brad Pickett is a big step up in competition for him. He hasn't faced a top 10 yet, and now he is. I think Brad Pickett's definitely one of the better fighters at bantamweight for sure. I think he is going to be able to use his defensive wrestling to keep this thing on the feet, say Burrell gets frustrated by Pickett's boxing, which I think he will. Pickett's going to be able to trade with him on the feet, and he's just not going to be afraid to get in Burrell's face and be aggressive. Pickett is a relatively aggressive fighter, and he'll take this to the ground if he needs to ice a round, and I don't think he'll get submitted. So yeah, that is my pick. Brad Pickett, unanimous decision. I think he edges out Burrell on the feet, and I don't think he gets submitted if it's ground. There it is, as simple as that. Brad Pickett, UD. Alright, YouTube, moving on. Main event now, middleweight bout between Chris Leben and Mark Muñoz. Pretty big bout for the middleweight division. So yeah, there's a lot on the line here. We'll see what happens. But yeah, again, this is what my contest is for. So if you're a Mark Muñoz fan, or if you're looking to just win a free t-shirt, please enter this one. Please. So yeah. But again, relatively easy fight to break down. Taking a look at this, I think it's pretty much a mismatch. Chris Leben, not a very good defensive wrestler. Mark Muñoz, pretty good wrestler. We saw a gassed out Akiyama be able to take down Chris Leben. I think Mark Muñoz is going to be just fine in trying to take down Leben early. I think it's going to happen. Mark Muñoz is going to go into wrestling mode, take Chris Leben down, finish him off with a ground and pound due to Chris Leben's inability to defend on the ground. Chris Leben, to me, is just a brawler. You know, I know he does have a wrestling background, but I really don't see how he does. If he gets hit, he reacts to getting hit differently compared to most guys. Most guys, when they get hit, they try to take refuge or they just crumble. Chris Leben, you know, tries to hit you back. And he tries to swing harder once he does get hurt. So, yeah, if Mark Muñoz looks to strike with Chris Leben, he deserves to get knocked out because we know what we're going to get from Chris Leben, and you know what you're going to get from Chris Leben. And if you're not successful trying to beat him at his own game, then you deserve to get knocked out. I don't think he's going to try to, though. He took Damian Maia down, who's an ADCC grappler, went wrestling mode on him. I don't see why he doesn't go wrestling mode on Chris Leben. I think it would be stupid to stand with him because, again, why would you give someone an option to win the fight, considering that's their only option? So, again, I think Chris Leben has no choice but just to get out-wrestled by Muñoz and get ground and pounded upon because of his inability to defend strikes on the ground. So that's my pick. Mark Muñoz, nasty ground pound, first round TKO punches. All right, folks, that about does it. Again, relatively easy card to break down, in my opinion. I don't see a lot of these going, you know, either way. Besides the Brad Pickett bout with Hen Barrow, I think the other main card bouts are pretty much locked. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, but you know, that's just the way I see it, I guess. But yeah, thanks for all the support. As always, enjoy the card. If you're in the UK, have fun watching this if you are going to the card. And yeah, that about does it for me. My preliminary card picks are in the description below, along with some of my links, so if you want to check those out, please do so. Again, enter my contest if you'd like. And yeah, have a safe and a happy Halloween. That about does it. Thank you for all the support once again, and take care.